It's starting. This is the collapse of our power grid. We have over 500,000 people in America right now sitting in the dark, sitting in a blackout right now. Power's out, and a lot of places when the power's out, the water is out as well, okay? The water pumps don't work to keep pressure if you have a well, and even if you're on city water, the water could be off as well there too. So they could be sitting in the dark and have no water. And if you have an electric stove, you don't have a gas stove, no way to cook your food or anything. This is happening to 500,000 people right now, and they're warning that this is going to potentially happen to even more people. We have top officials that also just gave an emergency warning saying that these grid problems are spreading in more states and more people are under danger of these blackouts. So you need to be getting prepared. You need to be getting ready. You need to have a generator, all right? You need to have some kind of solar system that you can rely on just to be able to charge your phone to get out of these emergency situations, okay? A lot of these people are also in emergency situations without power, and they have no way to contact authorities right now, okay? This is happening in the United States, so you need to be getting prepared. You need to be getting stocked up. You need to be getting off the grid as much as possible, okay? As much as possible. If you have a house, try to build a well. Try to get a well for it. And if you want to go completely off the grid, look into getting an RV, all right? Get in an RV, get in a camper, and get on some land where it's legal, where you can live off the grid in your RV. Get a generator, get water tanks, get solar, okay? That's what we do. That's what my family does. And you won't be affected by these rolling blackouts, okay? You will just have your fuel storage there and you will be ready to go, right? But the other thing is, even if you have that, the fuel pumps go offline, all right? The gas is not pumping right now for 500,000 people, probably even more people than that. The gas is not pumping, but 500,000 people, almost 600,000 do not have power right now to their homes, and they're sitting in the dark, okay? And they're saying this is going to spread to more Americans. So get stocked up, get prepared, get your gas tanks filled up, get your generator, test your generator out, make sure it's working, make sure you can start it up, make sure it doesn't have oil or it doesn't need an oil change, anything like that, because we are moving into the future where they want to collapse the grid, and to bring it back, it is going to be rations, okay? It is going to be you are going to get tokens for the grid, essentially, and that's how you are going to be able to operate. You are only going to be able to use X amount of kilowatts hours per day, okay? That's how it's going to work in the future, because the grid is going to be overloaded and there's going to be rationing, all right? That's how they're going to prevent this problem, and they call it load shedding in other countries, and this happens every day in some places, like South Africa. They have their power go out for 12 hours a day in some sections. 12 hours a day, the power's just out, and they call it load shedding, and it's rolling blackouts there. 12 hours a day, 8 to 12 hours a day in most places in South Africa. And people just get used to it, and they say that's how they prevent the grid from collapsing. All right, so we are in this grid collapse scenario, and it's being engineered, and you need to be getting prepared, and you need to be as non-reliant on the grid as possible. All right, that needs to be your goal, because it's going to become more and more critical to have your own power systems, all right, your own energy generation, and even stuff like that. A lot of days the sun is being blocked out, okay? And it affects your solar power generation. And then when you have winter as well, that also brings your kilowatt hour generation down a lot, right? Especially when you get more north into North America, all right? The further north you go, the lower solar generation you are going to have during the winter, especially, all right? So all these things to consider. You need to be looking into it. You need to be getting prepared because it's critical, because they are collapsing the grid right now. We have 500,000 people plus almost 600,000 right now without power. And then we also have grid operators giving emergency warnings saying that this could spread. So let's get into these grid operators giving this warning. We have the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, and that overlooks 15 different states. Okay, this is an electricity grid operator that helps move electricity around to different states, and it covers Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, and Wisconsin, and Indiana. And we also have ERCOT, the Electricity Reliability Council of Texas. They are coming out and warning of blackouts in Texas as well. And we have 500,000 people that were warned from this. And Michigan, right now, we have over 400,000 people. And then we have over 100,000 people in Ohio right now that are sitting in the dark and potentially don't have water. And a lot of them are under emergency flood situations as well. So those grid operators gave this emergency warning the past few days saying, look, our grid is being put to the limit and we could have rolling blackouts. And then we had massive storms hit Michigan and Ohio, specifically Detroit, Michigan, and Cleveland, Ohio are getting hit hard right now with major flooding, and a state of emergency has been declared in Michigan right now for flooding in Detroit. And they are also in emergency situations from Cleveland, Ohio, flooding too. And these storms have knocked out major parts of the grid. And this is on top of the grid operators also giving this warning as well. So they gave this warning and then a major storm hit. And the grid was overloaded and damaged heavily by these storms, and we have over 500,000, almost 600,000 people sitting in the dark. And a lot of times with these storms, it takes a week or two for them to get all the power poles back up if there's a lot of damage, or if there's a lot of damage to the transformers and the substations. Okay, so this is spreading. They keep warning that our grid is on the verge, and then we have a major storm, and we have 500,000 people sitting in the dark just from a storm. Right, just from a storm, we have major flooding in Detroit, Michigan, and Cleveland, Ohio as well. So make sure you are stocked up. Make sure you have a generator. Make sure you are prepared, because this is part of a bigger plan that we're going to see pushed, is the grid being collapsed and the grid being, quote, unreliable. We keep seeing government entities and these grid operators warn of this, saying that the grid is at the limit, and the only solution they are going to push is to ration it. Okay, they are going to ration it, and at the same time we are seeing power plants being shut off left and right. Hundreds of coal power plants have been shut down just in the past few years alone. So this is why you need to be getting prepared. You need to be getting stocked up. You need to be growing your own food. I have some chickens, all right, and they are laying a ton of eggs. Almost every single one of them are laying an egg every single day. Okay, I'll show a little video here so you guys can see my chicks. And this is something that you need to be doing. Just start small. Just get chickens. I'm going to get some meat birds as well, because I want to eat food that's coming from the source. Okay, if I'm going to eat some chicken, I want to be able to grow it myself. I want to know where it came from. So that's something I'm going to get very soon. I'm about to order the birds. I've just been getting the infrastructure ready for it. All right, so we're going to have some meat birds going as well, so we can grow our own meat and have our own eggs. And in the future, your food consumption, your power consumption, your banking, all these things are going to be tied to your digital currency and your digital ID. All these things are going to be tied together, and they're going to be tracked and traced, and there's going to be limits on how much power you can use. There's going to be limits on what food you can buy. We already see these things being introduced and implemented around the world. All right, these ideas are popping up more and more, these digital IDs and these digital currencies, and they're going to program the currency to only be able to spend and buy certain things that they approve of. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And they are also going to program it so you have to spend it within a certain amount of time. They're talking about that as well, where you have to spend your currency every year. You can't, there's no savings or anything like that. They're programming this digital cryptocurrency for that. And they already have all the patents for it, everything. I've made whole videos on it, how Microsoft has a patent. It's patent 060606/2020. Okay, and they implement this digital currency. Okay, they're implementing this digital currency related to actions. So you're going to get paid this digital currency as long as you do the right actions. And it's talking about allotments, and it's talking about these specific credits that you get, and it's talking about wearable and implantable technology related to cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this stuff's coming. They already have all the patents for it. They already have all the plans laid out for it, but you need to be getting ready for it, and you need to be off the grid and as self-reliant as possible, trying to grow your own food, trying to get animals, trying to be around people and meet people that grow food as well, because that's going to be the only way we can survive in the future. Okay, they're trying to shut down natural food production and natural life with electricity. This is how life has been built around it. They're trying to shut it all down with a major grid collapse. And they know if the grid goes down, all right, they know that that's going to be the big one. And they know that that's how millions of people might not survive. All right, millions of people are not going to make it if we have a nationwide grid collapse. We have all these different warnings too. We had these top officials coming out from the National Security Council, which operates out of the White House. All right, and they were even warning that we have these cyber attacks targeting our critical infrastructure right now. All right, and they're saying that military bases are at risk. Okay, so we have all these big things going on right now, and we need to be getting prepared for it. You need to be having some kind of generator. You need to have some kind of power source that's not directly tied to these grid systems, because they already have the smart meters on everyone's home. They already know exactly what you're using, and they're tracking and tracing it all. And it's only a matter of time until they clamp down and implement this tyranny on top of us. Okay, I saw today that they're going after ceiling fans. Okay, they're saying ceiling fans that are being sold are not efficient enough, and they're trying to ban certain ceiling fans and going after them. Okay, they're going after all these different things: gas stoves, wood stoves. I'm telling you, they're trying to shut down wood stoves hard. And that's how you survive during the winter, during these blackouts, is to have a wood stove, is to burn wood, is to have have cords of wood that you have stored up so you have heat, and you can also cook on top of that as well during a disaster or during a power outage. Have giant propane tanks that you can use to cook, and you can convert those and hook them up even to generators. Okay, you can get propane generators and hook them up directly to your propane tanks if you have them on your property. All right, so look into all these things. Start getting prepared now, because that's what they're counting on, the big one. They've done congressional studies. I've mentioned this 100 times, how they've done congressional studies on how 90% of the U.S. public would not survive a North Korean EMP, where most of the power grid was taken offline. Why are they even doing these studies? Why are they wargaming this stuff? This was from Congress, reported from them, released from them. It was their own study. And why are they even wargaming this? Okay, they're trying to figure out how many people would not make it from a major grid collapse scenario like this. All right, so that's the big one. That's what they don't want getting out. Okay, and I'm telling you, behind the scenes, they have been trying to silence these grid warnings. I'm telling you. So hit it up for me down there, please. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I'll probably let you guys know soon, but there's stuff going on. Please hit it up for me down there to help get this video out. They do not want these grid warnings out. They do not want me warning people and telling them to get generators and get solar and to prepare for a major blackout. Okay, because they know the less people that are prepared, the more their agenda is accomplished, right? And that's the nicest way I know how to say it. So get prepared. If you don't want this agenda to be accomplished, get prepared, be a survivor, learn how to survive, get prepared for Shtf, because it's coming and it's going to hit hard. It's going to hit the fan hard. It's already hitting the fan. All right, we already have specks of it hitting the fan, but it's going to hit the fan hard very soon. And that's what they are counting on, for you to not be prepared for that. So please hit it up for me down there. I really appreciate that, to get this word out to more people. And I'm super blessed that you guys watch. And I hope you guys have a big old blessed day.